Almost there, ladies.
And ice. I love ice.
Right, I'm like, wait, what's going on? Okay, close all of this. One more moment. I'm going to, I think I'll be able to see her when she comes on. Make this full screen. Make this full screen. All right, welcome everyone to another edition of Between Brothers and Sisters. It's your girl, it's your host with the most, your favorite chick to chit chat with, Miss Mo. I got a few dope ladies on here with me. We got Miss Tangi,
Hey,
we have Carmen, and Tiffany will be joining us shortly. But we're gonna go ahead and dive in. We hope you enjoyed last week's episode with our men, but now it's time to get down to the nitty gritty and hear from some of our ladies. Y'all ready, ladies?
I'm
Yep.
ready.
Okay, so I was gonna play that song, This Is Ladies Night, and we was gonna go ahead and dive in and jab in, but I think I'm gonna skip it because I don't want us to start making the screen freeze and all of that good stuff. But we are going to have a good time on tonight. And just by way of a small introduction, I know both of these ladies from high school. Yay! What was our mascot? Eagles?
The Eagles.
Eagles.
Yes, Eagles. Yes, honey. Yes. I was on the cheerleading team and track. I played volleyball for like one day. Carmen, were you on any sports?
Basketball.
That's right, she was a hooper. Whoop whoop. Bailey, was you weren't on any sports, were you?
No, I didn't do anything, but I did sing in the gospel choir. Thank you, Jesus.
Come on, homie. Let
Amen.
me tell you something. That tab gospel choir was on point. Buster had us rocking.
Okay.
I had the nerve to be in the other chorus. What's the other chorus called?
Was that Mr. Perlman's choir?
Yes, I sang.
Well,
in
that
choir.
was mandatory. So
right. We sang about the bologna or the hot dog.
my bologna, yeah, hot dogs. Oh, my hot dogs.
Yep.
What do kids put up? Why do I remember that?
I sang in both of those choirs, and I did I was actually inducted into the Spanish National Honor Society. Ask me a word in Spanish and I can't tell you nothing, but I got an A. I was on an honor roll in that class and everything. I was doing it. Don't know how. I think I got a little bit of Latina in my blood.
Latino.
It came on out. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and dive in. I know you, Carmen, I don't know if you got a chance to go back and listen to some more of last week's show, but we talked with the gentleman, and even as I started it off with them, we started off with the question of who is the Black woman. So why don't we start right there with everybody tonight, and who is she to you? You want to go ahead? Don't all y'all speak at once.
Well, you call Carmen name, so
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, it's everything. She is all inclusive. She's our mother. She's our sister. She's our friend. Sometimes she's our boss. You know, like she's all inclusive.
Baby, break it down.
Man, I can't beat Carmen, but yeah, she's our friend, our sisters, our mothers, our co-workers, my daughter, she's the earth and the fullness thereof.
Come on, Mother Earth, give us life. The one interesting thing I found though that neither of you said is she is me. And I love that song. I was playing it for y'all in our little sweet time while we were waiting to get started and testing and all of that stuff. I'm Every Woman by Chaka Khan. And there's kind of like a two sides to that, because in it encompasses how great we are and all of the different things that we can accomplish. And just like I said last week, it isn't that other women cannot, or that there's a or anything like that, or this isn't a slight against other our brown sisters and our other sisters and things like that. But we wanted to focus on the Black woman. Now, there are a lot of similarities that cross nationalities and things like that, but we wanted to hone in today or this month to focus on her. And when I say that about the song, getting back to the song, y'all keep me on track, because I can kind of but getting back to the song, sometimes she takes on so much, we get that superhero complex, and then you wear yourself out and all of those things. I'm every woman, I can do this, I can do all things, and so on and so forth. And before you know it, you run yourself down, you're tired, and you're really not getting it. But at the same time, I love that it promotes a hope that I am every woman, I can do this, I can do that. And the things that we can't do, we actually somehow figure it out through trial and error, experience, inspiration from others, so on and so forth. We're this month, my feelings show is talking about feelings of inadequacy. And so I wanted to go on there, and it says, have you ever had a moment where you felt inadequate? Were you able to identify where those feelings set in, and have you overcome it?
That's crazy. So it is. Let me tell you something I have been battling with. So like, in my early 20s, maybe going into my early 30s, I had a group of girlfriends, separate girlfriends that I would kick it with. But the common census was I was a selfish friend. And so I think after hearing that repeatedly, I made like every effort to not be selfish, to try to open up, to try to listen, to try to be a better friend. And so I'm going through my 30s and I get to my 40s, and I feel like I have lost so much of myself because I tried to adapt to fix what others found to be a flaw. And so now sometimes in my relationships, I feel inadequate because I'm unsure of how to like not cross that line and just being selfish. And I'm very blunt and forthcoming. And so sometimes the way that I speak to people comes off as rude. And I really don't mean that. So there's a gap there that I feel like is inadequate. And I have to self-check to make sure that I'm calibrated,
Absolutely.
I can kind of piggyback on Carmen when you talked about having that group of friends where you felt inadequate. For me, and I'm just keeping it, I was that broke friend. Always struggling. Once I got older, had kids and stuff like that, always struggling. always going through something financially, something like that, or trying to be responsible where I can afford it, but I'm not gonna afford it. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like I was the friend that never had it, or I wasn't the girly girl, right? So I don't have pictures in high heel shoes and this really girly girl outfit. I was good with pushing my twins up and pulling it. I could pull it together, but I wasn't that glam girl. I wasn't that girly girl, but all of my friends, they were. So I felt inadequate as far as that went, because I felt like I wasn't glammed enough. You know what I'm saying? And I looked different. I was the outsider. And then here you are, poor and broke again. So I never, you know what I'm saying? That was my inadequacies.
So how'd you overcome it?
I have not.
What you talk about, Willis?
I struggle with it, you know, and I'm learning to, hence my Facebook post today. And, you know, some people were blocked from it because of the mild cuss words. Monique was like, "What's she finna say?"
Do I need to hide now?
But I'm learning because a lot of it, most of it was really caring what people think about you. You know what I'm saying? And I'm learning, so what if I don't dress or look like you? And then I'm also learning, okay, you a woman, you a girl, you grown. You can get your grown and sexy on. You can learn tips from here and there. You can do that if you choose to. And if you choose not to, then you don't have to. Forget what they think. Forget what they say. Forget how they look. Are you comfortable with you? You know, does it matter? You know, who is this about at this moment? Are you about pleasing somebody else? Now, if I'm going to a wedding and it's a formal wedding, of course, I should be formal. But if I'm going to something that really doesn't have a attire protocol, and I choose to do something different from what other people are doing, and that's what I'm comfortable in, I should be able to do it and not care what somebody else thinks, and go and enjoy myself and be done with it. So I'm still struggling with that.
How do you think we even get to this place where we're so inundated with, it's almost like there's this invisible memo that went worldwide, it's universal, and it kind of dictates and determines, and it sets these boundaries and these levels that we have to either attain or be to be certain things or at a certain status or whatever. Like, how is it that something exists so great that's unseen, but it affects so many of us? You know what I mean? Like Carmen talked about it from the, both of you kind of talked about it from the basis of friendship, and how you were made to feel. And as you said, Tangie, a lot of it's stemmed from other people's opinions and, you know, being concerned about that or whatever. But it's like, once that's something that's been in you for so long, how do we unpack that to get back to identifying who we really are? Like, how do you dispel the lies that for so long have become the things that have shaped and formed your life?
It's a self-check. It is a consistent self-check. A lot of our perception is mixed based on what we've been taught by our parents or those people that had influences on our lives. And then you have what the world and what we're being fed by media. And so I guess you have to kind of think of it in a physiological standpoint, or from one. Like when we began to have different epiphanies at different stages in our lives, you know, like at 20, I wasn't having the same revelation I was about certain things at 30. So I think it's with growth. I think it's the things that you are having to check. You know, I just think it's with evolution and growth.
You said a word, Monique. You said identifying. You have to identify it. You have to know what's the root cause of it, and more than likely, it's environment. It's environment. It's people you've been influenced by, people that you may have admired. It's rooted. When I say rooted, I mean it's rooted so to the point where it ain't nothing you picked up 3, 4, 5 years ago. It's probably something you picked up a long time ago. And you gotta, your famous word, you gotta unpack it.
You know, I love unpacking stuff. I'm getting tired of moving, but I love unpacking. So I want to, Carmen, you touched on, since you introduced it, I want to go back to that because I think that is something real key that I see a lot of different dynamics in with Black women. It's friendships and sisterhood. And there was a meme somebody posted. I don't remember if I saved it in my phone. Yep. And it talked about sisterhood. And it said, or it wasn't a meme, it was a post somebody put up and somebody I know shared it. And it said, I'm starting to notice with some of y'all, it's not about Black women. It's about certain types of Black women. And I'm speaking to Black women right now. All this sisterhood stuff, that's not what they said, goes out the window when it's a chick, not their word, you don't like. And I thought that was really, really interesting because you see a lot of, even in this time where, you know, they're talking about Black Lives Matter, it matters here, it doesn't matter there, it only matters when it's this, it only matters when it's that, so on and so forth. And you hear a lot of these conversations and it's like we be for the Black woman, we be for sisterhood, we promote it, we see it everywhere. And I'm not saying everybody promotes it, but on some level, most of us subscribe to it. But it almost is like the sisterhood has all of these conditions. Friendship nowadays has all of these conditions and these expectations, and we can fall out and be done with each other real easily now. And I think sometimes I hear people throw it under the umbrella of, I'm too old to deal with this, I'm too old to deal with that, because I got a laundry list of stuff that I'm too old to desire to deal with now. But it's like, have we become more short-tempered? Have we become more intolerable? Have we identified ourselves more and just know what works for us and what doesn't? Or have we removed the grace that we want extended to us in our mishaps, missteps, or whatever, and not so easily to extend it to others? Like, where is this breakdown? Why is it so easy to just throw away friendships nowadays?
I don't think it's from a perspective of somebody that's almost past 40. Mm-hmm. I don't think it used to be easy. And I don't think at times where I fell out with a friend or something like that, I don't feel like I threw the friendship away. I may have been mad or my feelings were hurt at the time. Something was going on with me, because what happens with me, I shut down. You know, if you hurt me or you did something to offend me, instead of me addressing it, I get quiet and I isolate myself. So for me, it was never about throwing friendships away. Carmen is judging me. Don't you dare judge me, Carmen. Let's unpack this. for me, it was never about throwing friendships away, not intentionally. I may have caused more trauma at the time, but for me, it was never about throwing friendships away. It was about, I'm mad, I'm hurt, I'm angry. I had to get quiet. You know, for me now, I'm learning to extend more grace because I've been extended some grace, but I'm also at a point now where I'm saying your grace run out. Your grace has run out with me. Your grace can run out with me because I'm tired. You know, sometimes you get tired of having the same experiences with people. You get tired of having the same hurt with people. You get tired of being made to feel the same way with people. And sometimes it's okay. I ain't throwing a friendship away, but I don't have any more energy for it.
I feel you.
I don't know. It depends on the person with me. So like, I have to feel that there is something vested to save. And I think again, a lot of this came with me growing. Earlier, I used to have a motto, like when you did something against me or what I felt was against me, and that was just, I know how to mess with you. And it was very easy for me at that time to put people in compartments, know what I was going to do with which group of friends, and be able to just like leave situations easily. Now I feel like if we have years together and it has been a genuine relationship where we have given and taken from one another, and I deem it beneficial, I will put the work into it. I've met a couple of really nice people over the last few years, and have had some falling outs where I felt like it's just not worth me going back trying to repair. You know, like I can easily walk away from that and not be bothered, you know? I don't know.
So a couple of things that you both kind of touched on. Like for me, I felt like my friendships just, like I have this cousin, and I have this cousin, sorry. And every time you see pictures, I be trying to watch the chat as well. But every time you see her pictures, you see some of the same faces in these pictures. And they've been friends for like forever. And I've always loved that. I've loved seeing that they take vacations together. When they have these big monumental moments in their lives, you see the same people in the pictures. They're there. They don't talk every day. They don't hang out every day. They are in different states and stuff now. But when it's the big things, you still see them same ladies from when they were younger still gathering together. And I think that is absolutely lovely, something that I've always wanted. But I don't have that. Like I have some that I still talk to over the course of these years, but not necessarily where we're hanging out, we're spending time, things like that. A lot of stuff I do solo. But it is what it is. So I've had a lot of friendships that ended, and some of it I don't really think there were any I threw away, but I was willing. And one of the things that I realized when I felt like there weren't these long relationships was when stuff would start to come in. I did get to this point of, let me evaluate this connection. Let me evaluate this friendship, this relationship. Is it really one that I want to continue? Is it too much work to make it happen? Then I've had some of those friendships that I still consider friends, but I don't ever hear from them. And you know, those relationships that are solo maintained, and by solo I mean me. And it was this thing of, what's the point in continuing to do the reaching if there's never a reach back, if there's never a thought of me unless I'm on your screen? It becomes this thing of like, maybe you're over the relationship. Maybe the friendship is settled its course or whatever. And I was talking to a friend of mine recently, and she was like, her mom always taught her to never throw people away. And I'm like, you can always come back. Like, we can always have a conversation. You can call me at any time, but I sometimes get to the point where I'm just like, I'm good. Like, I'm tired of how much work it takes to make this thing. Like, we've been here long enough where at this point, it should just be moving. Whatever it is, if we phone friends, we phone friends. If we kick your buddies, we kick your buddies. If you my running buddy, you my running buddy. Whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? Like, at this point, everybody should kind of be identified. And so in the conversation I had with her recently, that's kind of what I was doing. Like, okay, so this person is this friend, this person is this friend. And when you hear, like, now you hear about support. And it's like, listen, you always doing something. Sugar, I'm not going to be at everything. I can't be. I got stuff to do. And I like to sleep. I like to be alone, but I like to be around people. And so it becomes this thing of, well, like, you're not supporting me. Well, Sugar, you go live 7 days a week. It's a lot of people that I'm connected to go live. And everything you're talking about, I'm not trying to hear. You know what I'm saying? Or I just may have something else to do, or you're live during my me time. Like right now, it could be a gazillion people watching, or it can be 2. You know what I'm saying? Praise God for those who showed up. Praise God for those who will show up later. And praise God for those who won't, because maybe they don't want to hear about what we're talking about. It's just not those type of things. But if you put that weight on someone in your life, what everything you're doing is their responsibility to undergird it and hold it up, because that's what support does. Then at some point, you're not sufficient. You're not self-sufficient if you're always relying on those you're connected to be there to push it. Who is it for? Get it out there to them and make it happen. So it's a lot of different things. So do you feel like, so you made adjustments based on what people said to you, Carmen, about you were the selfish friend, whatever. Now you made those adjustments, but in a step back moment, did you ever evaluate and feel like you really were selfish, or was it just perceived?
I did. Totally felt like I was selfish. Totally, they all had scenarios where they could prove to me, and I was an a-hole. I did what I wanted to. I called who I wanted to call to go with me where I wanted them to go. I did. I was a bad friend, and I had to go back and apologize for everybody I had been a bad friend to.
But now, calling who you wanted to for certain things, does that make you a bad friend? Like, if I'm finna go to, like, my one homegirl, she all things real estate, but she's also my sounding board. I got 50 million things going on in my head about something that I have to package and present. So I'm talking to her. She was like, I don't know, Shady. I might not be the one to help you with this because I don't really know nothing about that world that you talking about delving in. And I'm like, I don't need you to know about that. I just need you to kind of hear everything and help me pull it together. Best conversation we had. Got it together, moved on. We went to, she had tickets to a skybox at a basketball game or whatever kind of game it was. And it was with all her real estate buddies. They sitting behind me. They talking about real estate. They talking about properties. They talking about finances. They talking about all this stuff. Nothing I'm interested in, but I had the best time. Why? Because they was all behind me and I was sitting there and I was watching the game. And it was an amazing time. So it's like, I wouldn't, if I'm going to a conference, she wouldn't be the one I call. I'd be like, hey, I'm going to this conference. So-and-so gonna be there. She believes in God. She goes to church. She worships God. She's a tither. She's truly a believer. All of that. But how I like to go to all these different conferences and works, she ain't with it. She not the friend to call. Me and Tangi, most of our friendship is over the phone. So if I'm doing something, yes, I'll invite her in case she wants to come out. But for the most part, she's not necessarily that friend you call to go and do all of those different things. Because that's not our thing. You know what I'm saying? Tiff, the one who just joined, she's the one that I would probably call. We used to go shopping. We had breakfast. It was 2-3 different restaurants. We would go to eat. That was my eating buddy. That's who I called for that. So I don't think it necessarily, now if you were selfish, you were selfish. But I don't think calling specific friends for specific things makes it being a bad friend if this is what you usually do. Like, I know y'all from high school. I met Tiff in church, Bible study. Sorry. So I know y'all from different places, but then you have some friends that you doing something and maybe you don't bring them all together because they all different. You know what I mean? You have the quiet ones. Some of them, you know, they real super saved. And if you turn on anything other than Kirk Franklin Tax Tribute, that's as ratchet as they get. You know what I'm saying? As far as music may go. So you throw on some Jill Scott or something like that, it may send them through a thing. But at the same time, that's still my girl. So it's like, I don't necessarily think it makes it being a bad friend, just makes it, I understand which compartment you go in, which compartment you go in. And today I'm going in this direction. So these can go, these wouldn't want to go.
But you know what? For me, that has been a problem with a lot of my friendships, is that people compartmentalize me in places, not that I didn't want to be, but I have so much more to offer. You know what I'm saying? And I think the reason why, and not saying you, Monique, because specifically because you and I are friends, I think a lot of people, because of my struggles, I've always struggled financially. You know what I'm saying? And I think because of that, people they put me in the box. You know what I'm saying? So if they're going someplace or doing something, they don't include me. Now, I will say this, I have been blessed to have a couple of friends that have, a few friends that have, oh, you don't have come anyway. You know, I got you. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? But I've had some that have said, well, I don't invite you because you never really have it. You know, so I think people have kind of put me in a box and like that I didn't want to be in. So you kind of put me in a box that I didn't per se want to be in, and you lost valuable time with me because I'm able, you know, and I think just because you struggle doesn't mean you don't know how to get up and put on a formal outfit, or you don't know what a theater looks like, or you don't know what a full course meal looks like, or you don't know what the finer things look like. That's, for me, I've had a lot of friends that put me in a box, and it's kind of like you know, the loud Tangie, you know, the no filter Tangie, you know, the Tangie that you can call and you know, the Tangie that you can call and vent to, but you don't know the Tangie that does like to go. Now, I ain't never been a club person. I ain't never finna be sitting up in a bar. I'm not that Tangie. But I've always been that Tangie that enjoyed a good time, enjoyed going out to do different things. But I think a lot of people put me in a box. And so I've learned to kind of stay there. However, we friends. And it was what it was. But I don't think it was fair to me.
But does everybody know that your no's were because of your struggle?
Well, here's the thing. If my no's were because of my struggle, I let that be known. But if I've never extended an invitation, you don't know nothing about my struggles no way, because guess what? You put me in a box. So your invitation list was of your friends that had a little money. And I'm being sarcastic when I say that.
Well, I speak all my friends until they billionaire status.
Amen, girl.
Because Tiff didn't call me out on. She was like, Mo, like, you keep saying no when people invite you, eventually they gonna stop inviting you. And for me, it wasn't even just because if it was my finance, I'd be like, oh, I would love to go, girl, but the way my account is set up, or, you know, my pocket says no, my stomach says yes, sign me up, especially if there's food involved, but my pockets would tell me no. But then I also had a female problem going on, and so it really affected my mood tremendously. So sometimes he'd be like, hey, I'm going here. I'd be like, nah, I don't even feel like being around a lot of people because I don't want to be the one that's there and she the Debbie Downer. You know what I'm saying? Because it got you in a little stink or whatever the case may be. But it was like, my little homegirl that I don't have to deal with no more. Like she used to, she got a lot of no's and heavy circulation because it was like when that thing entered in, it shut my whole my whole life down for the time that it was there. And it was like, I don't want to go because it do the fool. I'm sitting here and I'm key. And next thing I know, you get up and it's your clothes a whole nother color. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it was a lot. So I think it's different reasons. And so I don't know. I can't speak for your friends. I just know me and you, we never really, that was just never our thing. I don't know.
Well,
I don't think it was from a basis of asking and not asking. I don't know. Go ahead, Robinson.
well, I would like to say this. I'm not sure how close you and your friends are, but when you have a true friendship, you sharing things. And my thing is, if my girl is having a hard time and she's struggling, then let me be the friend and say, hey, friend, come on, let's go out to dinner. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me invite you into, this space where, you can feel the love from me as a friend, genuinely.
Right.
And
Right.
then you don't miss out. You know what I'm saying? And then it also enthuses you to like push or strive for more or maybe save or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? But as true friends, your friends should really be looking out for you. Y'all should look out for one another because they may be able to give, like I might be able to give and saying, come on, let's come and eat. But you may be able to give in another aspect, where I need that listening ear, friendships are like, they're real relationships. It's a give and a take type of thing. So girl, check your circle, because you in Chicago, we can go and eat. And I don't even know. I know you through Mo.
Look, we were talking about that before you joined. It's like there was a time where you threw friendships away. And I think I'm at a point with my life, I don't call them throwing away, but I don't have any more energy to put any more effort into that. And again, Carmen said something very important too. It depends on the purpose. I mean, it depends on the person and how she values that relationship and how much time, not even how much time invested, but
the value.
The value.
Is it worth my time? Is it worth my effort? Definitely.
Well, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be the friend that pray with you. I'm gonna be the friend that go in the club with you. I might be sitting around looking, and praying at the same time. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I'm gonna be the friend you can call and be like, let's throw these hands. And we're gonna get back to God a little later.
Right.
Because clubbing is not my thing neither. But then I have a best friend who loves to club.
Right.
And he always, want to have his birthday gatherings at some little hole in the wall. And I'm like, oh Lord, I gotta go on Madison next to Moore North, whatever those little places be called. But because that's my friend, I try to set aside my fear. And I always stay close to the door. Let me say that.
Yes,
baby, if a fight break out, I'm tiptoeing out the door, quick fastening. But sometimes you need those all around friends, because they can understand you from every aspect that you're coming from. Yeah.
I think
Let me tell you, they rare.
Huh?
They are rare.
Listen, when you get them, lock them down. Another thing that I found too that we have to remember to do is as we get older, things about us change. Well, let me rephrase that. Well, yeah, things about us change, but we also discover more about ourselves through life. And I think sometimes we don't give each other the space to grow, to fully develop into who we are. So who I was, previously, how I got down, I may not no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, I try to keep Nikki buried and dead and gone. But sometimes, people get to tapping on her, and I go from Monique to Mo to Nikki. And I try not to, because she, she just she was reckless. My mouth, Oh my God, I remember, matter of fact, me and Tangie went out and I went off on somebody in Burger King, and she told me how that set a taste for her. And she was like, I don't really know about, hanging out type thing. But I try to reserve and keep from getting there, even if it means, all right, let me go. Let me just remove myself from the situation. At the end of the day, I'm too old to be fighting. I can see it now. And now I can't go nowhere and speak because, they like, she's supposed to be a woman of God. She a prophet. She ain't see it coming. She's supposed to be a pastor. She just, and all of this stuff.
But I'm also human, baby. I'm also human.
And so, so I try to keep myself from being in situations that take me there. I try not to snap off, but it don't always work that way. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I'm still working on that, but I feel like I'm definitely better than I used to be, because some stuff I just be like, that could have went another way and keep it moving. Some stuff I'm not dodging it. I'm right on it, depending on the minute you catch me in. But I think we have to allow each other the grace to grow and understand that some of the things that I used to like, I don't like anymore. Some of the things that I used to do, I don't do anymore. And some of the stuff I need to stop doing, I'm still doing, and I'm working on it. Pray for me, call me on it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Accountability. We want, I hear a lot of people, like I said, talk about support. I hate when I hear it, but you want support. I need accountability. I'm not doing this thing by myself. It's some stuff that I'm trying to overcome and do battle with, but it's like, yo, I'm gonna need you to cover me in prayer. Like, you may need to call me. I remember one time I was having suicidal thoughts, and I put everybody on high alert, and the only way my friend Monique would get off the phone with me is if I agreed to allow her to call me every hour on the hour, and I had to pick up by a certain ring. And she called me every hour until I was like, I promise you, I'm good now. I'm just gonna sleep. And she called me that next morning, just to see how I was or whatever. But she was concerned. She was like, oh no. And I was in Charlotte. So she's back in Chicago during this time. And so it's different. You need, that sisterhood thing means so much to me, because I feel like we need it. And I was talking to somebody recently, and they were saying about how a lot of us, people either go to for their group or their friends or whatever, and when you going through something, you kind of shut down because you may have had some negative experiences with sharing with people and so on and so forth. And it's like, no, like, you don't even have to tell me what's going on if you're not ready to talk about it. But let me know I'm not okay. Pray for me, and I'll take it from there. I'm gonna keep checking in. But when you're ready to talk about it, we'll talk about it. And if you never get ready to talk about it, that's cool. I'll cover you in prayer. But I also noticed how things changed. Back in the day, I'd be in the middle of a conversation. Somebody be saying something about what's going on with them, and I just start praying in the middle of their conversation. I don't want to hit, I'm just praying. But I noticed that I don't anymore, because life hits you and you experience things and it changes you. So what are some of the changes that you all, good or bad, because I don't think that's a good thing that I don't, and then I'll be like, I'm gonna pray for you, and I put it on the wall, and I pray eventually, but I don't, my prayer life has changed because of exchanges that I've had. So what are some things that you guys have noticed have changed with you, whether it was through encounters you've had, whether it was age, experiences? Like, what are some things that you've noticed that have shifted you?
Who want to go first?
You, since the yellow box was on you.
Well, I'm gonna say this for me. This has been a major change for me. I grew up in ministry, and I changed several ministries, and I decided to join a ministry when I was married. It was a ministry that my husband, chose to go to. And so actually that's where I met Mo. And actually it was like, okay, I want to be that wife to follow my husband, and I want our kids to grow up and, in ministry together. And, we just be solidified as a family, under the same church house. So in ministry, I realized that I had made several, I want to say some friendships, I want to say some acquaintanceships, and some sisterhoods. But one thing that changed me was in ministry, you always have your sisters that's like, I'm praying for you, I got your back, I'm there, you know. And then when you're going through something, like I was going through a divorce while in church, it was heavy, especially dealing with all of the entities that was going on at the time. It was another woman that was brought to the church that was dealing with my significant other at the time. And I'm sure it had to be heavy for the ladies too, because they probably felt like, okay, well, we should still love on her because, you know, we want God to change her and fix her and heal her as well. To make a long story short, while going through that divorce, I wish I would have had my sisters to really call and check on me. Like I fell all the way back. You know, I didn't receive too many phone calls. Nobody said, hey, how's Tiffany doing? And when I decided to walk away from ministry altogether, one reason was I didn't want to live out my divorce in front of another woman who was dealing with my husband at the time and in front of this ministry, you know, that was so accepting of both of us. You know, there was a lot of embarrassment, there was a lot of hurt, there was a lot of shame. And I wish my sisters would have really came to check on me, and they didn't. And it kind of put a bad taste in my mouth that when I joined another ministry, I didn't want to develop those relationships that I developed previously. You know, at my other church, because it's like, okay, so now I'm in a place where the Lord is healing me, but I gotta take it all off in this new place for them to know who I am, where I'm coming from. And I'm here expecting a healing and I need my family, but in order to create, you know, that friendship or that sisterhood, I had to be transparent. I had to be honest. So it pushed me back in a way where now all I want to do is go to ministry, get a word, and I want to run out the door. I don't want to develop the relationships because I'm in fear of, if I need you, you won't be there.
That's, yeah, I get it.
You know, and even with that situation, like I couldn't be mad at them that they accepted her, embraced her, loved her. You know, I'm not here for you guys to choose sides, but still, I was your sister. I was there. I might have needed a hug, a text, maybe somebody come and take me to breakfast or anything. Like
Or
nobody really.
You may have needed somebody to say, come and get me from 7425 Woodward Avenue in Woodridge, Illinois, 60517. I have on all black. Come and pick me up and ride with you to what's her name house, or up to the church doing worship service.
And that was my sister Mo. Now she probably didn't ride with me, but she was on the FaceTime while I was sitting there all black at hotels.
Yeah. And but see, when you said you had a friend that did the little hole in the wall clubs and did the little ghetto wretched places on Madison and Pulaski, and even though you were a woman of God and you were in ministry, you were still willing to support them like that, you know.
And trust me, a lot of my friends did support me. The one thing that I don't want to do, because when the little person in my head kind of pop off, yeah, she can get real, you know, ratchet. And I don't want to bring my friends into that atmosphere, especially if I know Mo's a minister. I know my other friend, you know, he's a lovable person. You know, it's just certain atmospheres I don't want to bring my friends into, but I do want to know that I have their love and their support, you know. And then I'll tell them where the money at if they need to come get me out to jail.
Girl, who you taking to them atmospheres?
But I just get ready to say, but you know what? Some of your friends, and I respect the fact that you like, hey, I'm finna go ahead and get into just a little bit confrontation
It don't be
was,
a little bit of nothing.
where her face about to meet my hands or fingerprints finna be left, you know,
She
but
bringing all the smoke when she show up. It ain't a little bit of nothing. I be on the phone praying so hard. I be like, somebody, I send out text. I'm praying for my homegirl. Y'all pray for me. Cause I need an extra push in the spirit to make sure this thing don't go, you know, worldwide. Like, Lord
Yeah,
have
baby.
mercy.
Cause I don't need a crew. I'm a crew all by myself.
I was
But-
just
but
get
it's
in
good
and
you
get
have
out.
to, she say, with her, she be solo. You just be on the phone. Like, listen, this where I'm at. This what's going down. I be like, Tiff, don't turn. Like, go back. Don't. She be like, Mo, listen, cause I'm tired of. I done been on like so many of them conversations. Lord.
But it's good to know, like you say, you know, it's good to, like you put certain people in compartments. It's good to understand and know who gonna get in, who gonna get dressed in an all black with you, whether you want me there or not, or whether you can take all the smoke with you or not. I got on all black too. I can take these Walmart $4.97 earrings off. I'm with you. Let's roll.
You know what the $5 hollers?
$4.97.
Yeah.
Look, I got another homegirl that called me and came and got me to be in a situation. This was way back when, but I
Are
don't
you
know.
talking about on St. Charles and 25th Avenue? You talking about me?
I don't know what it is about me that attract these go-getters.
Baby.
It was like, yo, I'm on my way. I'm coming to get you. I'm talking about, I was sitting in the car like, Father, I can't go to jail. Ain't nobody coming to get me
You
out.
didn't
My
go to
mama
jail
gonna
here.
leave me up in this joint. I'm sitting in the car like, oh my God.
We didn't go to jail. We didn't put our hands on nobody. There was some damage to property, but that was
Lots
pretty
of
much
property
it.
damage. Lots of property damage.
damage.
Stuff was flying in the street. Like it was an interesting thing. I don't know what it is. I attract those friends.
Praise
And I'm
God. Praise God.
Soldiers in the army of the Lord.
That's right, Carmen.
Soldiers in the army of the Lord.
Ready to do battle.
That's true sisterhood. Listen, I'm telling you. Okay, so here's another one. Let's switch topics a little bit. How often do you feel like you compromise or negotiate your standards, whether in life, in your career, in relationships? And when you discuss that, I also want you to cover, are there any non-negotiables? Like some stuff I'm just not budging, I'm just not doing. Or is there anything, or is everything open with conditions? Like, some people be like, oh, I'll try anything once, but anybody can jump in first.
Come on, Candace.
That's my baby name.
Somebody called us
Candace, mama.
gangsters.
I was thinking about being in the workplace, and I always talk about me being one of the few African American women on my team, and it's very noticeable. And so I think all of us code switch, right? When we go into the workplace, I don't know, I'm from the west side of Chicago. I know I have an accent. And so when I get in the workplace, I try to clean it up. And it's like, who is this person,
Put on your proper hat.
So you know what I'm talking about. And I'm thinking, as sometimes, like, what have I compromised of myself being a Black woman in largely corporate white America? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So when I go to meetings, like my hair is natural now. I'm uncomfortable if I wear my fro, or if I am. If I'm just wearing it natural and it's not like, I'm sorry, my dog going, hey.
Speak your truth.
Yeah. So,
You
like
must got a new dog because you got a big burly dog, and I know that.
That's not Debo.
It's not Debo. It's
No.
Kendrick. Kendrick is the little cat. He arches his back like a cat too. It's crazy. So I think that I've compromised myself a little bit in the workplace. Just not being 100% authentic. I would say, you know, like when I say authentic, I mean like West Side Carmen, sister girl lingo type, you know, with my peers. And I don't even know if you should do that. I have found that in my relationship, my marriage, it's been very hard because I grew up in a single parent household. My father would come and see me once a month. He would leave my mom money. I learned my behavior with men by watching how my mom dealt with my father. Come see me, give me money, make sure I'm okay, and go do what you do. So at 32, I got pregnant, I had Cadence, and I'm out in the world with a 12-year-old, and I have another baby that I did not want to experience raising as a single Black woman.
Uh-oh, where'd she go?
Uh-oh. Am I back?
There she go. Yep.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. So I'm with Cadence's dad, and I love him, but he's the only child, and I'm the youngest child. And I don't know that it would be compromise. I would say it was more of a negotiation on how we began to live our life. And we had to recalibrate things, you know, where he was used to having his own space. Now we're sharing. We used to always get into it about him just leaving, not saying, hey, I'm about to go, I'll be right back. It was a pain point for a long time. I wasn't a constructive arguer. So when we would get into arguments, I would cuss, I would fight, and I would just get up and leave, and we would be in the same household, but it was to leave and not come back. Like, get your mind right, I'll be back later. And not really understanding I'm in a marriage, I need to sit down, we need to talk about it and work it out, you know? So when we say negotiate, and I know you were talking about like being a Black woman and stuff, I look at the things that I was taught by my mom, by my environment, like Tangie spoke about earlier, and then you apply like those life experiences, and you have to take from each of those different roles. You have to take from being a daughter, and you have to take from being a Black mother, and then you have to take from being a African-American spouse and make this woman. And those ingredients are forever changing, you know, as you get older and as life happens, and you have to calibrate in your friendships and your relationships. We're getting older, our preferences are different. I want to sleep with the TV on, he doesn't. I'm hot, he cold, you know. It's crazy.
I feel you, girl.
Piggyback off Carmen with the whole
My husband got him.
piggyback with Carmen off with the whole workplace thing. When I went natural many years ago, I remember going on an interview at a temp agency. And I was, you know how the temp agency sends you off on interviews, and they were sending me off on an interview, and they emailed me just little tidbits of how to have a successful interview, right? And in the interview, it said to make sure that my hair was neat, and I had on little small stud earrings. And that did something to me. And because it's like, I've been wearing this Afro puff for many years, right? So this is my staple hairstyle. It's either this or individual box braids. And I've been doing that for several years now. And it's like, okay, my hair is neat. This is about the standard size earrings that I wear. I don't think it's unprofessional. I don't think it's over the top. And I put on my all Black interview attire, and I went just as I was, but I felt so awkward after that. You know, I was, for 5 years, I had a consistent assignments with that same agency. And I always felt a certain type of way going into the workplace with my Afro puff or with my braids, or if I decided to do something Afrocentric or something like that, I felt awkward doing it, you know. And it takes me back to my post today. It's like our insecurities come from a lot of places of what we care more about what people think. And it's like it makes us compromise our standards because we looking at what other people, you know, think and different things like that. And for me, I haven't had a good romantic relationship in a long time.
You see that look?
Hey,
I'm like, wait, where are we about to go?
I've definitely compromised my standards as far as who I shared male companions. And it's like, what were you thinking? Like,
You know what you was thinking.
I know what I was thinking, you know, but it's like I compromised. I got a list of 10 things that I would want in a male-female relationship. You got 2 of them. Like, what was I thinking? You know,
Girl, when you hit them 30s, that list start changing, doesn't it?
it goes from it goes from 10 to all you need is 1.
Look, I got rid of my whole list. Just let them love God, let God lead them, because I don't want to kill them. Like,
God, you do the rest.
Ahead of your life, so we can survive and thrive in this thing. Listen,
man, but man, I look back now. I'm like, what was I thinking? I don't know if I was talking to Monique or my girlfriend Vivian, because I talk to her every Wednesday. But like, why didn't somebody stop me? Like, why didn't somebody say something?
They was probably happy you was, you know, yeah.
No,
See?
my thing.
You gotta have somebody in your sister circle that's gonna hold you accountable. What are you doing?
Right, and nobody said anything. Like, they just, you know, nobody. Monique didn't say nothing either.
I was like, did I know?
If somebody said something, what would your reaction have been? Would you have been accepting to it?
I'm sure I would have. Listen, I'm the type of person like this. I hear it. We all, as women, we already know when we in some mess. We already know when we in a situation, whether it's a friendship, a relationship, or experience, that we already know is not mentally and emotionally safe for us. We already know that. But I didn't have anybody to tell me that. I'm not mad at anybody for not doing it, but I have asked the question, why didn't somebody pull my coattail? You know, again.
But I'm gonna say this, even though sometimes people will pull your coattail, but because God made us women and we're nurturers, we always feel like we have the ability to change something. Like they're going to actually conform to us because of the love I give, because of the compassion I give. You know, yeah, it's you know,
but you know what, Tiffany, that was real sweet what you said, but I wasn't thinking none of that. I wasn't thinking none of that. That was real sweet. Thank you, Tiffany, and I love you for that. But I wasn't thinking none of that. Because I didn't view this person like that. This is what I'm saying. Like this person had nothing on the list. Like 1 or 2 things. You know, but
see, those type of lines, I just had a horrible experience with a girlfriend. And, you know, you get stuck in those situations where you have to say something to a friend. It's specifically about a relationship. I hate to have those conversations. I don't want to have them because history has taught us, our parents have taught us, our friends have taught us. Sometimes that situation gonna blow up. And a lot of us don't want to be on the receiving ends of that. So I think we sit quietly and watch stuff go on. You have to have a good friend, like one good friend to tell you, hey, this ain't right.
Yeah. You're being partially stupid.
Yeah.
I can tell you though, because sometimes that friend gets tired of telling that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? And it may not even be that they're tired of telling you. They're tired of being that friend that's telling all of their friends something. And it's kind of like, well, just shut up and mind your business sometimes, Mo. You know what I'm saying? I'm taking up for myself or why I tell you. No, it's playing. But sometimes you like, and then sometimes you be in the state yourself where it's like, sure, she like it, I love it. Because right now my own life is kind of, I'm 5 minutes away from a phone call. You understand what I'm saying? So, you know, it be different things. Like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, our friends change. I used to be that friend for people that be like, girl, no, that's stupid. We not finna do that. Like, why would you? And then, you know, you get your hand smacked so many times. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had this one friend and her husband was a habitual. I don't even know if you call it cheating after so long. And I will always tell what happened, but then there were these situations because somehow I would always just be privy to what, I mean, even the connections of how it would get back to me was mind blowing. And it was like, sometimes, you know, people get mad at you for telling them information and it just be like, listen, I don't have the capacity to discern in this moment whether this is one of them where I should speak or I should just shut up. So I'm just gonna shut up. Cause you know, and it be different reasons. Love you, want the best for you, but I'm gonna choose silence of the lamb on this one, and hope that work out for you. You know what I mean? So it's so many things, and when you talk about the Black woman and her strength and how it's perceived sometimes as attitude or and like for me, I'm one of them that you could be standing across the room and have a speck on your coat, and I'm gonna see it, and I'm gonna tell you about it. But then it's like, you see everything, or you always got something to say, or you so opinionated that you just be like, everybody for a little while just gonna have to walk out whatever you choose to walk out without my input, because you know you shut down. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes your friends may do some crazy stuff during your shutdown season, and they ain't got to hear about it from you. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's so many different things, but when you talk about the compromise of your standards in a relationship with a man, baby, I think at one point I started writing a book about it. Like, and that's what pushed me into my state of abstaining. I was just like, okay, I'm done with this. The next man, we're gonna be married. And I was on that for like 8 solid years. No, nothing. Even with tons of temptation, offers, all of that. It was just straight abstaining. And then when I fell so hard. Oh my God. I didn't think I was gonna recover from that one. But even in that situation that I failed in my abstaining, everything about that situation was dumb. The conversation leading up to it, the situation itself, the exchange, like the whole time I'm sitting there, there's this internal me screaming like, what in the whole hell are you doing? What are you thinking? Like, this not something we would do. But I was at such a broken, I own what I did, but I was at such an emotionally broken state. You said what, Carmen?
What you do? No, go ahead.
Well, what had happened was, but it was really bad. And in all honesty, I don't think anybody could have talked me out of what I was doing. It was almost as if I felt like I was so confused. I was in a state where I was questioning whether or not I was saved, whether or not I was ever called to ministry, whether or not I had misled people. Like, I just felt like I missed it on everything. I was so off. And this was just the last thing that I was holding on to was my abstaining. So now if I fall here, that means God ain't gonna use me no more. And I'm good. And like, literally, it was almost like my flesh felt like it was a freeing, but another part of me felt like it was a type of punishment, like this is the last thing. This is going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back. This is what's going to take me completely out and disqualify me. But it was weird, and it started this real crazy spiral effect of decisions that happen. So I think sometimes we lower our standards when we're in weakened states or broken states. You know what I'm saying? It's easier to accept something that in your right frame of mind you wouldn't even entertain, and now you find yourself in those situations. So for me,
I'm trying
Yeah.
to catch some light, y'all.
are you at the gas station?
Yes, I came to the gas station because I thought I would have more light. It was on the other side. I was thinking about doubling back around to go.
How far are you from home?
I'm by my parents' house, so that's where I'm headed to.
Oh.
Well, let me say this. I think that I was, because thank God for some deliverance. I ain't all the way there. One big cosmetic ball of compromise. And that is in every area of my life, of being when I was a wife, when I was a mother, when I was a friend, a daughter, a sister, just every area. Because when you grow to know people and love people, sometimes, well, let me say this about me. I tend to want everybody to be happy. It's somewhat like I found myself being a people pleaser, that I neglected myself. It was just like if everybody else around me was happy and was living life and doing well, then I was okay with that. Even though I may have been missing love, affection, attention, it didn't matter. And because of who I am and the heart that I have such a big heart on always wanting to help people that I never took the time to stop to help myself. It actually came, like, I was married for 20 years. I was with this man for 25 years. So it was like I was always trying to please others. And then to turn around and be told that I still wasn't pleasing to them, even like my children. It's like certain things that they do that you may not like, but you're allowing them to grow into the person that they're becoming. So, sometimes you have to lead, guide, and provide, but you also got to protect, and you got to allow them to go and bump their head against a brick wall, even though you don't want them to. It's like, I've been there, done that. So let me explain that to you. So for me, I just feel like my life was just a total compromise in every area. Even like I said with the marriage, I compromised my marriage too, because my parents would always call on me and pull me. I need this, I need that. I will run, how Candy, I don't want to say your name. I know
Carmen. Her name
Carmen. I'm so sorry, Carmen.
Just think about Carmen San Diego.
How Carmen said, she had to deal with that thing with her husband getting up and leaving, and not saying anything. That was my life, baby. My husband couldn't stand it. But if my mother or my parents, somebody called and said they need me, it's like, I just thought, he'll be right here. I got to go run and I got to help somebody. And I don't know, it just seemed like it brought like satisfaction to my life until my life came to a halt. And God told me, you got to look at you. Like, you're the reason for your unhappiness. First of all, you all over the place. Like, I should have been on time today on this Zoom. Again, running out, taking my mama to therapy, running to the stores for my daughter because it's a birthday party going on for my grandbaby, trying to do everything, still trying to take care of me and run and get my hair done, that I fell behind in my day. And I find myself in that situation so many times. And I had to say, Tiffany, just stop. And you know what I stopped doing? I stopped seeking God for my day. I just started going about my day. I'll get up and I'll say, thank you, God, for waking me up in, this morning. But I don't say, okay, so God, what we got on the books today? What's our plan? What do you have for me to do today? And so you'll find yourself running raggedly, and you'll think that you're accomplishing so much, and baby, you probably causing a train wreck or hurricane. You know, because you wasn't supposed to be over here helping this person because it crushed this person. You shouldn't have been over here doing this. So yeah, for me, y'all, my entire life was a compromise. So I can go on and on. I didn't know how to say no. I didn't. And I still struggle with that right now today. I do. I struggle with that right now today of saying no, because
What you scared of?
I don't know. There's a part of me feels like I'm going to fail somebody. And maybe that's because I never went back to look at my own life failures. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I never went back to attack those things or take those things head on. So I don't want to become a failure to anybody else. Like, they need me. I be feeling like I'm Superwoman. I got to put this cape on. They calling me. You know, the sirens are going off. I got to be there. But in actuality, I don't, because it's like I'm realizing now I'm burnt out. These bones ain't as young as they used to be. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting tired. I'm taking on some health issues, probably some issues that I'm dealing with that I shouldn't have never been dealing with, because I shouldn't have never been involved in the things that I was involved in. So yeah, and it's one of those things. And then one thing I can say is I look back on my childhood and I realized my parents, both of my parents, I'm the oldest of my siblings. Both of my parents worked nights. And it was like my siblings always depended on me. And I took on that role and I took on that character and I ran with it with my life. And I became that person in every relationship. Even in friendships, my friends could say, well, I don't have a refrigerator. Girl, I know where you can get a refrigerator. I'm coming. You know what I'm saying?
It's like you the mother hen.
Baby.
But I will say you getting better. As your sister, you are starting to relinquish some things. And you know, I even noticed it with your grandbaby. You still run and you do whatever, but you be like, where's your mama? And
yes. Baby, I gave that baby a whole car so she can go pick up her own child and drop off at school and
her siblings. So you making some strides. You just gotta do it in a few more little areas or whatever. It's getting dark outside where you are. Do you want to just go ahead and drive home?
Girl, I'm right up the street. I'm enjoying this conversation. Okay, come on.
I mean, I'm just saying you could put your phone in the
all right, leave her alone.
Look, I can peek my head out the door like this and get a little light.
Look, I don't like people sitting in, and she.
I'm in Oak Park. Look, I'm in Oak Park. I made sure I was a little. As long as you're good,
we're good. Yeah. I'd be concerned about safety. Now, the interesting thing that you brought up was that I would like to hear from you guys, because all of you are mothers. One of the questions that I had wrote down was about what are some lessons that you discovered that you shared with your children. But I also want to ask along the lines of even with what just came up, are there some things that you feel like you've compromised in with raising your children, especially all got girls. I mean, I got sons too, but
I definitely, with me, I definitely think I compromised and crippled my kids in some areas.
Haven't we all, girl?
Especially because when me and my kid's father had kids, we were supposed to be a family. We had these kids, even though they weren't planned. We're gonna get married and it's gonna be solid, blah blah blah. That's not how that worked out though, and I'm okay with that. But I did a lot of things his way, versus what I ain't gonna even say what I was taught to do, because I'm not gonna even say how I was taught and raised was the right way per se. But I compromised so much in how I raised them. You know what I'm saying? Did a lot of things his way. And then it wasn't until I got older and started doing things my way, so I realized, okay, your way wasn't, your way wasn't the right, your way didn't work for our children, basically. You know, and when I started implementing other things, like for me, you know, for years I lived out on the south side. I worked in the suburbs, and my kids went to private school on the west side. What the hell was I thinking?
It's a lot of trouble.
Because like Tiffany said, I didn't know how to say no. I was a people pleaser, and I compromised. For years, I lived on the south. I lived on 87th and Carpenter, across the street from Calumet High School. I dropped my kids off at Northwest Institute for Contemporary Learning on the west side of Chicago, and I went to work in the suburbs. When the kids were smaller, I worked out south. I dropped them off at the daycare on you know, the home daycare, Monique, that you referred me to. I dropped them off at the home daycare. I went to work on the west side, in the suburbs, because that's how he wanted it. But we didn't live together. So I was the one doing all the work. I was the one doing all the compromising. Why am I carrying everything? So when a life experience happened and it threw me needing a place to stay, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do me. I moved to Woodridge. I moved to Woodridge. I put my kids in public school.
Free 99.
Help for free 99. I put them in public school. I was working, everything was back to back to back. Everything was, I worked on Cermak and Wolf Road for 10 years. So everything was right there. And I'm like, oh my goodness, what was I thinking? Like that whole people pleasing thing, that whole thing of not wanting to say no, that whole thing of compromising too much. Just like, what was I thinking? And then my kids are seeing this, and for so many years, I'm coming home dog tired, because some days it took me 2 hours to get home from work because I was coming from here to there, and it was just a mess. I wasn't giving them adequate time as far as sitting down with them, doing their homework and spending quality time with them. And the homework time became 2020 homeschooling. You know, it was all over the place. So I think back on that and I'm like, you know, a lot of my compromise and a lot of me people please and a lot of me not saying no, it fell on them, because I wasn't the best version of myself for them, trying to please other people. Even with my mother, every year for Christmas, my mother wanted those kids at her house because she had all this Christmas for them, and and their father wanted them Christmas Eve. Well, when I'm gonna get them? So as they got older, I'm like, I'm not doing all that right. You want them, you come get them. You got Christmas for them, you bring them to my house. And when I stopped saying no, and when I started pulling back, I started making enemies, honey.
Yeah, because they don't know that you.
No.
That's the no. You changing up on them.
Yeah, I switched it up. I switched it up, and I'm like, no, like, why am I doing all the work? Why am I doing all the compromising? But I don't get to see my kids on day with either with you and your wife, or with we spend the Christmas day with my mother, you know, and then my mother, mom will come over there tomorrow. Well, if the Lord will it and the creek don't rise. You know? Oh, Jezebel spirit, yeah, manipulation. But I definitely, you know, a lot of things I did compromise that affected my kids, and a lot of things that I did I could have just did differently as far as raising them. I see it now that they're adults, and my daughter has 2 kids of her own, and one is here, you know. You know, so yeah.
You gotta unmute yourself.
Oh, okay. I thought you mute me. Girl, I'm trying to find me some light.
Where you at?
Girl, in the back of my mama house finding me some light.
Oh, we can see you good though.
Look, I have to stand by the light pole.
Oh, that's good lightning.
Girl, you not in the alley, are you?
Yeah,
Don't
I
get
am.
in the alley.
I've known you. Like,
No.
I could blocked out that you lived out south. Like, I forgot all about that.
Yeah, that was, as far as the area, I said in a really nice area because it was a homeowners area, and it was directly across the street from my high school, so there was always a heavy police presence there. Very nice neighborhood. Never had any troubles over there, except that one time that girl came and busted out my car windows. Never had any problems over there. And but the issue was it commute, like I was compromising. And none of it fit me. And even the private school that they were in was garbage.
Wow.
So
That was a compromise, baby. You was paying for a garbage school.
you know what? I've done a lot of things in my life to keep the peace.
We all have.
I've done a lot of things in my life to keep the peace with a lot of people. And when they get ready to treat me how they gonna treat me or do me how they gonna do me, they do it. And with no regards to how it's going to affect me. And I'm like, I wouldn't have never did that to you. I wouldn't have never said that to you. I wouldn't have never left you out of that. I wouldn't have never, so yeah.
Who told us we had to deal with all of that? It is so crazy. I'm listening to like all of the different bags that we carry back to our private little closets. And I know I heard Monique say she shuts down. I heard Tangi say she shuts down. Tiffany, are you one that kind of just goes in your little hole when it's become too much?
Baby, I don't have time to go in no hole. I just keep it moving. I have my moment, and then I just have to shake it off, and I got to keep going, girl. I got two adults, one young adult, some elderly people. I don't have time. I really don't. But I'm starting to make time. So honestly, during this time, I don't know what I'm doing right now. Currently at this moment, it's like I'm just asking God, like, okay, Lord, help me take some of this weight off of me. What can I do? What's another option beside me running and me doing everything? Like, that's the point that I'm at in my life right now. But before, no, I ain't had time to go to no closet and none of that. I was crying and praying along the way, whether I was going to fight, whether I was going to pray, whether I was going to the recital. I'm just keeping it real.
I go and I have to go and just be quiet for a minute. I know, like, I don't know when I got on Facebook. I'm gonna say maybe around 2009, and started to reconnect with some of my high school buddies. So Tangi and Monique became a part of that Facebook crowd, and I will always post little moments of my life with my daughter. And so I had her with a Nigerian, and he was deported when she turned 5 years old. And so he had afforded a really good lifestyle for us while he was here. And when he left, I had to kind of figure out things by myself with this kid that I wasn't ready to have. So just to tell you a little bit, when I got pregnant, I was living at home with my mom. My mom put me out, and she had taken me to a women's shelter, and my father, the baby's father, didn't want that to happen. So I ended up moving with him, and he was abusive. And so I had Shadia, she was a newborn, and we got into it one day. It was a really bad fight. And he went to the hospital. I ran. My mother went to the hospital with him. And she told me that I provoked him. So wow. It was like a made-for-movie TV on how I left that house. I thought he was gone one day at work. I had went to work. I snuck in the house. I had been hiding my stuff in totes. I was making my great escape. And he was at home when I got there. Took my stuff. I got out the house. I was literally homeless with my baby. Okay.
Mhm.
When she got older, I probably got myself together when she was about 6 or 7 months. And that was because I had an awesome village around me that took me in and supported me, and let me get myself together and work and establish myself. So when she got older and she started to see her different friends, and I'm telling you this to say, I was making $6.10 an hour working at Advocate. I paid $500 a month for her to go to school, private school, Tangie. She went to First Baptist Vogue Park. And then I was paying $650 in rent. I don't know how I made it. And I had a car note. So she never experienced her lights being turned off. She never experienced being hungry. She had the latest and greatest because I sacrificed everything to give to her. And I created a monster. Girl, when I found out that I was pregnant with Cadence and I had a 12-year-old, I had to tell that it wasn't about her anymore. I think my life blew up. I think it blew up. And I cried and I prayed. But I still have to be a Black mother to another one. I still have to be an African American going out into corporate America. I still have womanly needs. So I'm courting, I'm dating, I'm going through stuff with my man. We ain't married yet. I still have to carry wanting my kids to be saved, fighting religion, not understanding, like God, I know that there's a God. I was brought up in church. I don't understand why all hell is breaking loose right now, So I think Dee Dee felt a lot of transformation. And I don't know that I compromised any. Well, I gave so much of myself, so I guess I compromised me for her. And as she got older and stuff started happening, I just beat myself up about it. I really did, because I felt like it was me that created it. After I had done everything that I had done, I didn't really instill any values. I really didn't teach her to save. I just gave, because I was overcompensating for someone not being there. I was overcompensating for having to work all the time,
Yeah, that's understandable.
Yeah, I can, yeah. I get it.
So then you get these 21-year-olds that want to have hair down their butt and fingernails done. But hey, you got a car note. And why am I still paying your phone bill? You got an iPhone 11. I got this Samsung from
you got
5
one
years
of those
ago.
too.
Meanwhile, Carmen got a public aid phone.
Wait a minute, you got one of those too. I thought I was by myself.
Girl, why you got? I said, those some cool Crocs you got on. She said, these not Crocs, these Yeezys. Let me look how much these Yeezy slides cost. What?
Yeah,
that's your house more. It's a mortgage.
Girl, I need to be a server at Famous Dave's too. I ain't doing it right.
Wow. Well, God just corrected me. I know you had asked, is there a closet? One thing I can say is, no matter how crazy and hectic my day is, God speaks to me at night. He wakes me up out my sleep. I used to have moments where I would just go in my laundry room and sit on my couch when I had a couch in there and just lay back and read. And he would talk to me. He would correct me. He would tell me when I was off and, what I should be doing. And then I'll go about my day and I might start off right, but then I just take over. I forget all about my Heavenly Father, so I have those moments. But back to what you were saying about the 21-year-old. Oh, I got one of those too, that pay $400 and something for wigs and don't pay rent. But one thing I can say, she do have a beautiful heart. She will ask me, Mom, do you need something? But don't just come and ask me, do I need something? You know, it's a lot around here we need. Just go do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, take some of this off your mother, you know? And I had to think about that too. Like, we all just got new phones. I pay all their cell phone bills. They're on my account. And so I had the iPhone 7. I really didn't care. My system was slowing down. I didn't care. As long as I can pick up the phone and say hello and send a text or an email, I was cool. So my baby like, no, Mom, your system is running so slow. You need a new phone. You need this. Baby, I don't have $700 to $1,000 to go out and buy an iPhone 11. So, you know, with the account that I had, they had like the Jump program. You can get the free phone, but it's not really free. You're leasing it and you're paying all this money. So now all the kids are like, well, I want the iPhone 11 Max Pro. My 17-year-old just paid $400 just to get the 11 Max Pro. Girl, $400. I mean, these kids are just too privileged. And then my son he wanted to upgrade his. And I started going, I said, wait a minute. So when the bill come around, who finna pay all these leases and stuff for the phone? So my 17-year-old said, Mom, we all have good jobs. I think we should take responsibility for our own line. I told her, okay, well, the bill is due next month in September. I want to see who gonna run it. And watch, everybody gonna skitter scatter. I'm gonna be looking at that bill and I'm gonna be, and Mo will tell you, I used to take their phones at night. I don't care how old they is. If you in my house, I will take your phone. Don't pay that sub lease bill. Don't pay that extra $50. And you think I'm gonna pay it? No, baby. I will come and take your phone. I will. I am the repo mom.
I used to be on the phone with her. She'd be like, all right, lay your phone right there. Where the iPad at? What the little note at? All right, love you. Good night. And then here come the next, because you got another gadget. I was like, this
yes, girl, go find that gadget.
Charges, everything. What you up there charging? Wow, I think that is so dope. I think this has been good. Are there any areas about you that you were in denial about that you've come to acknowledge as truth? What were they and how have they affected you, your life or changed?
Mo, you play too much. You know, you digging in the crates now, you know. You're making people want to really, really, really talk. Let me see. For me, it was being a wife. I just thought that I was the perfect wife. That was my man. I was going to keep it sexy in the bedroom, whatever. Let's turn it up, turn it on. I was going to cook meals. Like I used to cook Sunday meals throughout the week. You know, I was the one, the food got to be on the table at a certain time. We got to have different things going on. We got to stay a family, you know what I'm saying? To find out that, wow, I fully wasn't giving myself because I was so split and so divided that I thought that I was being everything to this man and I wasn't. And I really had to look at that reality in the end. So.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
Do you, for lack of better words,
Jesus.
Is there any, do you take any accountability for the demise of your marriage? Do you think you could have done anything differently, or it would have happened regardless of what type of wife you would have been?
That's exactly what I'm doing right now. As we're having a conversation, I'm taking responsibility for my part in it, okay, and where I knew I could have done better.
Now that don't mean he wouldn't have did better, but I'm just saying.
Right. I can't really speak for him. You know, I can't speak for him because, you know, we all have our own issues, our own things that we have to deal with. So I had to look at Tiffany.
Right.
You know, like I said, I was doing all of the wifely things and, you know, all of the motherly things and trying to keep this hi honey, welcome home type of feel going on, you know, but honestly, when you're being pulled on, and going back to that people pleasing person, you have to realize how much you have divided yourself, because you're trying to give you a piece of yourself to everybody. Somebody's not going to be satisfied. Somebody's not going to be happy. And some people are going to fall short. Just like you said, when you were doing it, Tangie, your children fell short. Me, I tried to make it a strong effort that I didn't fall short with their homeworks, their recitals. And I was Johnny on the spot, but I failed them in other areas. And I had to be honest about that. So that's a little bit of mine, because baby, when this book comes,
Man, I want to read. I'm have to want to read that.
Look, she'll be back in September with a solo interview. We gonna unpack a whole lot on that one. I gotta talk to her prior to that interview to find out what my boundaries are, like what areas we can dive into, how far we can go through this thing. But we gonna unpack some more. I think you the first Friday in September. Yeah, so we'll be dealing with that, life after divorce and all that good stuff. Who else?
But what was the question?
The question was, are there any areas about you that you were in denial about that you've come to acknowledge as truth? What were they, and how have they affected your life or changed?
Okay, go ahead, Carmen.
No, I was thinking I had addressed it earlier when I told you about my about being selfish. I think that was it took a realization, you know. I'll give you an example. You guys know Katrina Page. He was on Chili and 10 with them all. One of my good girlfriends. You did. When we were in high school, I used to get a Social Security check from my dad because he was so old. So,
why you gotta say it like that though?
He was. Girl, they was old when they had me. They should have stopped. I don't know why they did it. So my mom would just give me that money to do whatever I wanted to do with it. And I don't know, we were outside and we went to Brickyard, to Foot Locker, and I had some money, I don't know, but Trina offered to buy me a pair. I think they were like Bo Jacksons. They probably were like $70, which was expensive for shoes for me at that time, I thought. Well, other than Jordans, I was buying Jordans with my Social Security check, ghetto baller.
it was yours though.
It's so ghetto, girl. But yeah, and I don't even know. It was so ill spent. I don't know. Well, anyhow, she had bought me those pair of shoes, and for years, I mean, we were like 16. I had never done anything for her. I didn't buy her a birthday present. I didn't buy her a cheeseburger. I don't remember a birthday party. I like just nothing. So, we talked throughout the years or whatever. And so, like, just this past year, I was like, just let me bless you. Because you was there, and I remember that you was there when I was 16 or 17. And I remember how I had money and I didn't do nothing for you, how I didn't reach back for you, how I didn't acknowledge a friendship. I just kept on with my life. And by all means, I could have done it. So when I say I was selfish, like those are the type of selfish acts that I would do. And so like I'm coming into myself and I realize that. And so if I'm nice or if I choose to bless somebody, I let them know how they touched my life and how I still remember it. And let me pay it forward. You know, it might be tangible, it might be time, it might be an ear, you know what I'm saying? But I'm here. I realized what I did, how it may have affected you. It may have not, but I remembered it and I felt a way about it, and let me address it.
I think that's one of the things that I've learning is to be accountable. Like I've had some hurtful experiences with relationships, friendships, kinfolkships, but I've also learning how to understand what my role was. What was my role in it? How was I accountable? And I was accountable. I have to be accountable in being selfish too. And I ain't doing it. I just didn't think to do it. Like when my kids were younger, going to birthday parties, showing up to birthday parties with no gift, because I didn't prioritize my time about a party I knew about 2 or 3 weeks ago and didn't make the time to go and stop and get a gift. You know what I'm saying? When I did have it, or even now, I'm not a giver. I wasn't a giver. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't a gift-giving person. It just wasn't me. I don't know why I didn't do it. I just didn't. And I'm learning to be accountable for that now, because I do, like, my mother is a giver. My mother is a giver, okay? She gonna give from that negative A-cup bra her. She gonna give. But
She
I
said a
just,
negative A cup.
yeah. And my
Man, huh?
that just wasn't me. I don't know if I was being selfish or I just didn't know any better, but I'm being accountable for that now. And um I'm learning how to give, whether it's my time, whether it's my treasures, you know what I'm saying? It's money, finance. I'm learning how to give where I can, when I can, how I can. Now, what somebody else may do, that's what they can do. And that's my whole life mantra now. Listen, I don't care what somebody else's opinion of it is. I'm gonna do me. And that means if I decide to give or to do something for somebody, I'm gonna do it on the level that I can, or I'm gonna do it on the level how my heart allows me to do it. So I'm being accountable for not always acting when I should have, for not always doing when I should have, for not always being in a position when I should have. Like, me and my mother have not always been close, and we're in a stable position now. We have been for years, but it will go months when I wouldn't call her. It would be months when I wouldn't see her, because she was very help me, Holy Ghost. She
Call on them.
hey, what comes up comes out of her.
She's unfiltered.
Not that word. Her words would affect you, baby. They cut you like a knife, okay? And my way of protecting myself was putting distance between us. And that distance over time grew greater and greater and greater and greater. And now that I look back on it, I don't feel like I was the daughter that I wasn't a daughter. I ain't gonna say the daughter that I could have been, because I do know that there were obstacles. It was more than just her obstacles. It was a lot of other childhood trauma that set in its way, and then her own strong arm personality that stood in this way, that kept us, so I'm also being accountable for not being the best daughter, and even not with my father. Although my father had many years that he wasn't there, it was not his fault. But even now, I make sure I call him at least twice a week. I can't talk to my mother every day. She tries to call me I do talk to her every day, but sometimes you have to skip a day. The Holy Spirit would hey, skip a day. Go ahead and skip a day. And I have to but I'm being accountable for my lack in relationships.
I think that's really dope. Because self-awareness is a very powerful tool. We have one of the viewers online is my sister, and she commented and said that she's discovered that she's a spoiled brat. Her words, not mine. Hallelujah. She says she's a spoiled brat and she has daddy issues. I definitely can identify with the daddy issue thing, because that was like my whole life. What was wrong with me? Why he didn't want me? And I felt that kind of led to some of my compromising in relationships with guys. I don't want you to leave. I want you to want me, to accept me. So while there was some things I was just resolved in, I just wasn't doing. And it was at certain points where I wasn't budging, but it was at some points where it was like, you know what? We just gonna go ahead and we're gonna get down with the get downs and you just gonna do whatever. But I think the biggest thing that I've learned and discovered about me is that I'm a whole lot of person. I don't mean from size wise, I mean she ain't little, but I mean like I'm a lot. And I don't think there's anyone that I consider a real friend that hasn't had to take a time out for me. Like it's been a break, a time out in most relationships. Now, some of them, they ain't just take a time out. They was like, I'm done. They just cut you off. And I don't think I've been a bad friend. I just didn't manage me well in relationships. And that thing about being a lot, like when I know something is what it is, I'm not bending on it. I don't care what you think, how you feel, what you believe. If I know this to be truth, I'm not budging. We can go, and I used to get off on arguing. So we can go round for round, we can go for hours. I was good with it. But I outgrew that because it takes away your energy, and I just rather be doing other stuff. But when it comes to God, things of Him, and the way of the kingdom, like you not finna tell me it ain't raining outside when it's pouring down. Sorry, it's the rain. You know what I mean? So I've learned that everybody can't handle all of me. I told my homegirl Mika, I was praying. I say, you got to pray for my filter because I say, you know, Tiffany and Tangie know me real well and I get real comfortable with them. So I hope my filter works so I don't go too far into just free flowing or whatever. Because there are some people who can handle more of me than others. You know what I'm saying? Like I can be whoever, whatever with Tiff, and if she has something that she really seriously needs to talk about, we could have just been kikiing, kicking a bobo, talking crazy or whatever, and she'll bring up something, and I can still be that sister that ministers to you, that'll pray to you, that'll bring correction if correction was needed, and she'll be able to receive it, even knowing me as the cool homegirl Mo. You know what I'm saying? Some people can't see me in my Mo status and still receive from me because it's like, and it's not that I'm bad, it's just that sometimes they put people, ministers, on this in this box of how we're supposed to show up. And I don't show up like her every day. Like I still enjoy all kinds of music as long as I enjoy it. I may have a glass of wine. Somebody will see you sipping and be like, oh, she can't tell me nothing about God. Well, that's your loss. I still know what I know. It don't change that for me. One of my homegirls had a party and it was a 90s thing. And I'm talking about the music was getting it, but I'm got to this age now where I can't get out there and do all this stuff they doing. I get tired after 2 minutes. So, but I was in my chair getting it. While they was on the floor getting it, I was sitting in my chair getting it because that was me. Somebody could have saw me in that setting and been like, they can't receive from me. I can't pray for you. I can't minister to you. I can't tell you something. So I learned about observing people and how they move with me. Like I used to then like to go in settings and people be like, oh, this is my friend Minister Monique, or this is my friend Pastor Monique, or this is my friend Prophet Monique, because what happens is it makes other people around me clam up. And so now you're not authentic around me. And I never get to know really you because you feel like I can't be a certain way because we got the pastor in the room, we got the prophet in the room, we got the in the room. And it's like, just be you because I'm gonna be me. And so but I'm learning how to read others and see how much of me they can actually handle. And I don't just mean from the standpoint of whether or not you'll still receive from me from a ministry perspective, because really I don't care about that anymore. Like I'm still gonna give what I'm supposed to give. Your hang up is your hang up. And I'm coming out of being so concerned about the opinions and views of others. And I'm rediscovering who I am because over time, people like, oh, you always got something to say. You so opinionated, or you talk too much, or this or that. And if you start to hear that from a lot of people, it starts to ring as a type of truth. And now you're taking these opinions and you're shaping and molding who and how you are. And it's like, before you know it, more of you gets cut away, and you look in the mirror one day and be like, I don't even know who the heck this girl is. You're afraid to do almost everything. You want to try something new with your hair, you're afraid to do that. I don't want to mess up the hair. Doing makeup, I don't really know how to do this stuff, so it might not come out right. Well, if it don't come out right, wipe it off and start over again. I'm afraid to cook this because what if I overcook this? If it don't come out right, either eat it or throw it away. It's like fear. I'm not going in this area. And so it's literally, the more people chipped away with their opinions of me, the more I shrunk, the harder it's been to rediscover me. And so even now, being at this place, because the Black woman has the reputation of being an attitude. We always with this, and we speak very stern. We're strong. We mean what we say. We stand where we stand. And so in a lot of settings, we may kind of fall back some so that we don't get labeled with that stereotype of the Black woman, the angry Black woman. And the thing of the matter is, hell, I am a Black woman and I do get angry. There's some things that's going on that just straight up piss me off. And I don't have the seconds to figure out a fluffy way to say what I need to say to you to get this out. So it may not come out sweet and the softer side of Mo. You might get that, oh my God, can she even spell Jesus side of Mo? So, I can still get to those places, but I try not to, and I try not to be in situations that let me go there. So it's like, I'm learning to manage me better, and not necessarily so much as I was wrong in this, I was wrong in that. Yes, I did some wrong things. Yes, I didn't always say the right things. I didn't go to the right places. I didn't handle things the right way, but I am who I am. And in the process of me rediscovering who she is, I have to give myself permission to fully emerge so that I can explore who I am, understand it, and then better manage it. And everybody may not be able to stay connected during this discovery time, because some stuff may come up and come out that you be like, I just don't like that. I don't either, but give me a minute. Let me see what all it does so I can figure out how to manage this thing. Because what you saw was it in its raw sense. And I think a lot of stuff that we'll start to pick away at it ourselves is like, it's bad because we don't understand it. And it's really a part of you. Like, I remember praying like, God, just shut me up, like hold my tongue and this, that, and the other thing. And I remember being at this event and this woman told me, she was like, you've been praying to God and asking God to silence you, to teach you how to shut up. And she was like, but he's not going to do that because you're his mouthpiece. And the same thing that's caused you trouble is going
that was at Sean Mama birthday party.
It's going to be the thing that God is going to use when he uses you to help and heal others. And so it was really just a thing of learning how to manage that part of me. Because I mean, back in the day, you get cussed out in church, in the sanctuary. It didn't matter. I was going to fight the pastor's wife in the church because she said something to me I ain't like. I was about to beat up the choir director in the choir stand with a chair because she was messing with the kids that I was responsible for. So it was like learning how to contain it so that I can manage it. And then what helped me was having people around me who gave me the space to release it, love me in spite of it, and will call me on it. And when I lost her, when she died, that thing was hard for me because I felt like she was the big sister that God forgot to give to me, but gave me anyway later in life. And she knew when I just needed to vent and get it out, when I just needed to cry. She knew when I needed to be checked. Like, she'll let me get it out and then be like, Mo, you was foul, you was wrong, and doggone well, you shouldn't have, whatever. She gonna read me the right act. She didn't hold no punches. And sometimes hearing what she had to say hurt, but what I understood is she wasn't trying to tear me down, because sometimes people look for an opportunity to tell you when you're wrong because they really just want to tear you apart. But her goal was, nah, boo, you was wrong. You ready to go eat? I'd be like, yeah, let's go. She a treat. You know what I'm saying? So I felt like every friend was supposed to show up like her. I had to realize that they're not. So now I have different women that I consider friends and sisters, and they hold a piece of her, but I've never had another person in my life that was totally like her. Like she was just so many things. And I began to judge my relationships based on what I got from her. If I wasn't getting it from other people, I started to feel like they weren't good friends. And so that was another thing that I had to discover. Everybody's not the same, and I'll never get another her. But what I had to learn to do was embrace what I have in those different friends. And this is exactly what I need. So it's like a few of them to make up her. So I still get it. And that goes back to what we were saying earlier when I was saying, you go to this friend for that, you go to that friend for that. This is because those are, you know, who they are. Like if I know if I wanted to get down, now I know who to call. Like, yo, listen, I know this sounds a little crazy, but suit up. Let's go handle this. You know what I'm saying? But I know I can't call everybody for that because some of them gonna be like, are you drunk? Are you having a moment?
Carmen got a red cup, speaking of drunk.
What's going on? That's Kool-Aid. That's Kool-Aid in her cup.
But you know what? And I know you're trying to wrap up, but you know what? One of the things that I struggled with was I'm an only girl. It's only 3 of us, but I'm an only girl. And I think I always wanted sisters. And I think I shared this with you, Monique. I've always wanted a whole lot of friends. You know what I'm saying? Because I thought that was what was up. A whole lot of friends and different things like that. And I know a lot of people. There are not too many places I go and I don't know nobody. I know a lot of people. If your man cheating, I'm probably gonna run into him and his girl or something. I know a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? And I wanted a lot of friends. And I think I could have been the one that benefited from like having sisters and stuff like that. But I just, when I look back, I never had a circle of friends. I never had friends where I say, yeah, that's my sister. You know what I'm saying? I never felt like that. Now that I'm older, I feel like I do have some good Judys. You know what I'm saying? But I don't feel like over the years I've had those friends. Like I don't have a circle. You know what I'm saying? Like I have people that I call, like if when Carter had this accident or when Kayla went into labor, you know, I have 3 or 4 people that I call. Monique is one of them. You know what I'm saying? I have a group of people that when something is going on, when it's an emergency, something is happening, that I call, that I text to let them know this is what's going on. But I never had a circle. I never felt comfortable. I call people sis because I think it's cute and it's a culture thing. But some people take that literally. No, I don't have, and this is no shade to me and Monique's relationship, you know, but I've never felt that comfort or that with other women, you know, even though when I look at people's relationships with their girlfriends and stuff like that, when I hear Monique talk about Mika or talk about Tiffany or talk about her other friends or even other friends that I have that have friends that have friends that have friends. And like Monique said, when you go on Facebook and you see your friends have different events, you got the same people all the time. I don't have that. I never had that. But as I've gotten older, the past couple of years, I realized I do have a few good Judys, and I'm okay. I'm learning to be okay with that now because life is short. And it's like you sweating the small stuff, and God has given you a few good Judys, and it's quality over quantity anyway. And I'm learning that some things that I didn't get from friends over the years, I've gotten from people that I just met the past few years that give it to me without hesitation.
I kept trying to interrupt you because I was going to tell you just like how perception is really crazy. One of my, I don't know why I remember this moment at Taft. We were in a lunchroom and like you had a clique. What are you talking about? What I can remember, I know Monique was at the table, Carolyn was at the table. Latasha Starks was at the table with you guys. Lakeisha, I don't know. There were like a bunch of you at the table one day. And I remember this day because someone had said something about me as I walked past. I had on a white North Carolina pullover. What'd you say?
Blue, it was blue and white. I remember your hoodie. It was white with blue writing.
Yes. And like when I was in school, like I wasn't, I don't even know how I would classify myself right now. Like I knew a lot of people. I think I was popular, but I wasn't at school every day and like the newest and greatest. Like I told you, my mom wasn't about that. So I was 16 when my dad put me on with the SSI check and I was able to do a little better. But the comment was, I feel so sorry for her. And I don't know who at the table said it.
It wasn't me.
But I remember you guys at the table, and I will always consider you girls as the mean clique. I'm sorry, y'all not mean now, you know, like we older and we
tall. I was mean in high school. I was goofy.
It was probably your friends, because come on, I think you were friends with Michelle, and we had that whole thing about Roger. And so
oh, you was a part of the Mean Girls clique.
We just compartmentalize people. She told you about Nikki. Her name
probably
was Nikki in high
unintentional.
school. That was her. That's what we called her, Nikki.
The funny thing is, though, I like in high school. I don't feel like. I mean, I feel like I was known, but I think I was more known because I was on the cheerleader team, so I was loud in the hallways. You know, Carolyn was doing splits on the wall, so you know, it was. A lot of stuff was association, but I was just loud. I was loud.
And you was a part of the Mean Girls clique. Them cheerleaders, they
now here's the thing though, because Carmen was in a different grade from us, right?
Yeah.
So you know, you had that class of 93 against 94. You know what I'm saying? You had that class against class thing, but that was just high school stuff. Like I was cool with everybody. People now there were people that didn't like me, but I ain't had no real beefs.
No, I'm saying that to say like I can't remember Tangi as being like a lone soul. Like you always had a lot of girls around you, and you were like, you know.
But I think that again, the perception is reality. I think that was a thing. And to this day, I know a lot of people. I know of a lot of people. But when I look back, I didn't have a lot of friends. You know what I'm saying? It was not what it seemed. I think I was cool with a lot of people. I didn't consider myself popular, but I don't know what to say about that, because as happy as high school was, you know, just when you went back to the lunchroom cafeteria, I'm thinking about my high school bullies, Talona Land, Nene with the did I say her name? I'm sorry. Hey, Talona, you look good. You look.
You
beautiful.
have bullies,
girl. I remember we done been on here 2 hours, but we keep going. Listen,
we're gonna need a part 2.
We're gonna need a part. This is part 2.
I got one homegirl in the alley.
They are partying at my parents' house, so I had to find me a spot.
Her name because I'm sure she's not on Facebook.
Who's in the house?
The music is loud.
We got a whole conversation over here. They talking about a party at the house.
We can't. Girl, y'all remember Nene Nash? I thought whispering. Y'all remember Nene Nash?
I don't know.
Look, Bridget said, really, Michelle? Which Michelle was you talking about?
Michelle Geddes.
Oh, that was her last name, girl. I don't know.
The one on the cheerleader team?
Yes.
Because you know, there's another Michelle too, the little short.
No, she's talking about Michelle Geddes. Monique gonna get me for this, but yeah, I know she had the bouncy hair.
Her brown eyes.
Michelle said she loved when you came over. You were her friend.
Who said that, Michelle?
Mm-hmm.
Go sit down, girl. But no, I'm not gonna say I had bullies in high school, but there were Pacific people who would pick on me and different things like that. The older, like Nene with the dog. You remember Nene with the dog leash, Monique? Carmen may not remember her because she was under us. Nene with the dog
We
leash.
naming names now.
She ain't on Facebook. Though.
First and last.
She ain't on
But
Facebook.
the link is on Facebook.
And this is YouTube. The world sees YouTube.
Oh,
We
Carmen, you
recovered
don't say that
though.
no more.
No, but it's your reality. It's your reality. And I
That's
get
just
it.
not true. But what I'm saying, I just it may seem high school was hell for me.
I didn't think that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's just kind of like adulthood. We fake it till we make it. You know what I'm saying? But it was a lot. When I think back on it, it was high school was hell in itself because you're kids and kids will traumatize other kids and you got all this stuff you're going through. Then a trauma through childhood that you're carrying through high school, and then the
That you take over into adulthood.
come on, somebody, and then we don't figure out until we get grown that had we arched our eyebrows in high school a little bit thinner and put on some lip gloss and laid our edges, that would have improved our look 79%. So it was a lot. Like
Bridget said Nene was somebody's bodyguard.
Okay,
listen,
YouTube comments.
Bridget ain't never man.
YouTube comments.
Name,
We're not
baby,
gonna start
Nene.
bullying on YouTube.
No. Name, I'm sure I ran into her at a gas station many years ago because I ran into her at the gas station in Melrose Park across the street from Kitty Land, right? And it was so funny. I wasn't friends with her, nothing like that, because remember, she was like my gooch from Different Strokes. Remember the gooch from Different Strokes? That was my gooch. And I had dreamed about this lady. Then for me to ride up, I don't know her. Ride up on her at the gas station, and I say, "Hey, how you doing?" She said, "I'm good." And I say, "You remember me?" And she said, "A little bit." And I told her, I said, "I don't know why. I dreamed about you a few nights ago." And but the interaction was really good. The interaction was really good and different things like that. So,
In real life, I think that says something about our growth, and I think that says something about how our environment has changed us. To have the ability to not to carry those grudges, and keep them, and just be adult about it. You say, and we move on.
Yeah,
because I think a lot of stuff that we experienced in school was just us being childish. We were kids.
Mm-hmm.
We
immature.
handle things, yeah, and we've grown. And even in something you said, Tangie, with the how there's some things that you never got from friends for over the years that you meet people now, and you get it. Like, if those relationships were built over the years, like we met them in places, it formed, it shaped something. And like you said, people put you in boxes. So that kind of dictated how the interactions went. And people who meet you now. You know what I'm saying? They meet a new you versus the new that people have met over the years and carried in. And
their perception of you. Yeah.
And sometimes we're open to different things. You know what I mean? And it's easier to meet people and there be no expectations and just be, hey, woo. And we're grown. We're more mature. So we think different than how we did when we were younger or whatever the case would be. But I do want to wrap this up. But there were two things that I wanted to give you guys. And one real quick, each one of you have your 20s, your 30s, and your 40s. Quickly summarize who you were in your 20s versus your 30s versus your 40s.
Let me go real quick, only because my brother and my sister-in-law just got here. My 20s, I was a hot mess. My 30s, I was a mild hot mess. My 40s, I'm a bit of a mess with a whole lot of accountability.
Come on. I like that.
But I am gonna jump off because my family is here. And for those of you who don't know Tiffany, we're not Facebook friends. Godzilla escaped. My brother is here to recover him. He brought his wife. She's always down with something that he's doing. So hopefully they can catch Godzilla and she's not terrorizing the house.
It's the she.
I don't know, Carmen. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
God
I
bless your
enjoyed this.
ministry.
Well, good
I
night,
enjoyed
Tangi.
this.
You have
We
an
gotta do this
awesome
again.
night.
We got to do this again. Yes, you too, Tiffany. I'm waiting for the book. Carmen, I want to hear more from you. I think, honey, you need to leave that corporate life and start your own life coaching business. I see it in you. I'm telling you, Monique, this is y'all gonna connect, collaborate, do something. I don't know. It's just how you talk and your questions, and like you may have went to the wrong field. I don't know.
I'm sure insurance ain't called nobody, girl.
But I
thank you
enjoy.
for joining, Bailey. I'm definitely gonna have y'all back. I'm actually working on a panel of a mixture, men and women. So
Oh.
And I'm jumping off the deep end on that one, and I want to do about 9 panelists, so we'll see.
Yeah, I think that would be good. Yeah, and Tiffany, you get out the alley because we don't want them to mistake you for no Jezebel or nothing like that.
I'm right next to I'm by my home. See,
Okay.
there's an open garage, but there's loud music coming out of it. So I had to step over to the neighbor's garage.
Okay.
And catch a little of this light. You don't see this light.
Okay. Yeah, I see it. Well, I enjoyed you, ladies. Monique, thanks for having us on. Thank you. I enjoyed this. I needed this. I don't get too much adult time.
I got you. I'm gonna get you on another one soon.
All right, now we about to take he about to take Godzilla down. I'm gonna I'm gonna have to pass this back.
All right, Nut. I'll call you later.
See y'all later. Bye-bye.
All right, so who next?
I'll go next. My 20s, adventurous, very adventurous. 30s, taking on a lot of those adventurous things that, I was doing in my 20s. 40s, I'm becoming more settled. And I think I'm really coming into me and learning who I am.
That's dope.
I would say my 20s were impulsive. My 30s were more curious. And I'm just starting my 40s, you guys. I don't know. I'm having different epiphanies. So I don't know. I think like I'm really finding myself right now. Like I'm comfortable with who I am.
And you, Monique?
I would say my 20s were very exploratory. I was wild, reckless, dangerous, young. I say my 30s, I spent trying to recover and clean up from my 20s. And these 40s, I am getting back to me. Like it's true self-discovery. It's understanding and reflecting on all of the stuff before and getting to a place of what's really me, what's really stuff that I actually picked up. Like I realized some time ago that I'm really a simple girl. I don't need a lot of big stuff, complicated. Listen, bills paid, the house clean, it got the stuff in there that feeds my creativity. It smells good. We got plenty of candles. We got plenty of food. I can get a massage every now and again. I can do that self-care and maintenance stuff. I'm chill. I don't have to travel all over the world because I make my house as beautiful, my home as beautiful and comfortable as people travel to discover. I'm simple. I don't need a whole lot. Give me some good friends, some people I can have some good conversations with, a good bottle of wine or two, Stuff like that. That's me. Bridget stated her 20s, she was confused. Her 30s, currently learning in her 40s. I think that's kind of, it seems like the thing. We do whatever in our 20s and 30s, we in the middle somewhere, and in our 40s, it's like, okay, wait, let me get a grip on this life and figure this thing out. Like, hold on, this thing. I hear people talk about the 50s. Now, I will say that in my 40s, I felt like my body had a new soundtrack. I was making aches and I'm like, so what? Nobody gonna tell me that my body moved? Like, hold on, I can't get up like I used to get down. You know, I used to percolate, do my little splits and be down there, honey. Now you dance for 2 minutes, your thighs start burning, your knees start knocking and making sounds. It's like, hold up, wait a minute.
I think that's why everybody said in their 40s they discovered who they were. They started learning a lot about themselves. Yeah.
And who they are not.
Now that I want
What you like, what you don't like, what you can do, what you can't do. Yeah.
who can get what, like, you know, my pop-off ain't as quick as it used to be. I gotta, it take a little minute for me. Wait, did you just come for me? Like, is that what coming for me is now? When it's like you be behind on some things because you be removed from it, but it's so many things that I want to talk to you about. Oh my God, we are definitely gonna have to do another part 2. But the last thing I want to ask you guys tonight before you close out, what does the you and your mind look like? And how far from your reality is she?
For me, the you in my mind looks like, well, me in my mind looks like a woman who's at perfect peace. You know, she's more subtle, she's more calm. She looks at life different. She takes things on with a whole different perspective. Unlike the younger her who used to just pop off and snap, she really looks at life and tries to dissect it at every point in turn. She's very understanding, very passionate, and very aggressive about meeting her goals.
How close is she to the one that you are today?
That's a good question. I think she got a head start. She at the starting line, you know, when they say ready, get set, and go. She's taking off. But
we lost her.
Oh, man.
Okay, well, she'll be back. What about you, Carmen?
I feel like I'm still learning. I don't know that I have a complete picture right now. I think I have been blessed with a few different witty ideas. I'm still learning what I like and what I don't like about myself, and beginning to realize things that need to change. And so I don't know that I have a distance in like how far that person is from what I am now, because I try to work on that like every day. I'm very present in what is needed. For me, I think it's just about moving toward those goals.
Well, I'll say for me, I eat avocado. I'm juicing, and I don't mean that old school juicing. I mean, you know, the fruits and veggies in the little juice or whatever. Like, I eat healthy. I work out. Like, I wear my little leggings, my little t-shirt, and, you know, with my headphones, and I'm in the gym. I'm getting it in. I can walk up the stairs and not do heavy breathing. That's with or without the groceries. She like it's it's so many things that I can do that, you know, I'm that chick, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't I'm very unbothered. Yeah, she's real far. Cause that whole eating healthy thing, I be trying, but then them chicken wings be calling me like I'm just a foodie. And then I discovered that I'm an emotional eater, and I be seeing people cook all these things, and and she's retired, young. She makes money in her sleep. I don't have to
That's
get up
what's up.
to work unless I want to. I'm doing what I love doing. I'm counseling. I'm a therapist. She ain't even around the corner. My founding thing in the same state as me right now. That's how far removed me and her are. But I am definitely working towards her. So Tangie already said that she will come back. Tiffany has fallen off. Her phone probably died because she's been standing out there on it for the longest. But I'm quite what she already coming back. She'll be back in September. Like I said, we're doing a session called Life After Divorce. And I want to have these chats about different stuff more often. So would you be open to come back and join us again?
Perhaps. Yeah.
So we'll
My husband laughing at me.
So we'll build it out. I think I have everything lined up through September. So we'll probably start building out some other stuff October and November. I think I'm probably going to shut down for December just to prepare for the new year and things like that. Some of the stuff may change, but anyway, I want to thank you for joining me and the other ladies, although they are gone right now, for joining and helping make this such an amazing episode and show. We hope you had a good time, and we will definitely bring you back. Tell your family thank you for loaning you out to us for these 2.5 hours. Really 3, because we were all on a half an hour before to make sure we got all our technical stuff done. So tell them thank you. I really appreciate them. Dinner is on you for them loaning you out. Any closing remarks before you jump off?
No, I had a wonderful time. I look forward to doing it again.
All right. Well, thanks so much for joining. You can go ahead and log out, and I'm going to do my closing, and we will talk to you soon, Miss Carmen.
All righty.
Good night. All right, ladies and gentlemen who joined us, we hope something was said or shared here on the show that you enjoyed. We would love to have you. Thank you for those of you who are in the comments talking with us tonight. We had Michelle, we had Bridget. I'm not sure who Puppet Sensation is, but we had them out here chit-chatting with us, and we had other viewers on. So I just want to thank you guys for spending time with me on tonight. We definitely went over the time frame, but it was all worth it for me. I hope it was worth it for you guys. You could have been doing a lot of things on your Friday night, but you joined here. So we will be back next Friday. Next Friday, I have another all-male panel lined up. OMG. I have no idea where this conversation is going to go, but I'll be here for the journey, and I hope you will too. So again, we'll be back next Friday, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, same place, same station. I know some of you joined, subscribe today to the channel. Be sure to turn on your notifications so you'll always know when I'm either live or if I've uploaded a new video, because I am also doing In My Feelings, where we're talking about different things. And this month we're unpacking inadequacy, fear, limitations, and comparison. And I'm actually doing a new recording this weekend for that, and I'm really excited about it. We're going to see what we unpack. So again, it's been another episode of Between Brothers and Sisters, where we've been talking about the Black woman. Again, some things cross cultures is not just consistent with the Black woman, but that was our focus tonight. So thank you again for joining in until next week, or until my next video. Thanks for spending time with me. It's been well, and it's your girl. It's your host with the most, your favorite chick to chit chat with, Miss Mo. Like, subscribe, turn on the notifications, and tell a friend. See you real soon. God bless you all, and keep it kingdom. Good night.